Yay, yay. Hello, hello, everyone. It is time for the long game where PR and relationship marketing meet for real conversations that get real results for the long game. And we have a special guest for you today. First of all, awesome co-host Jeremy Knauff, a PR expert that will be joining me with me each and every week. But our awesome guest is Joanna from the Now Marketing Group team to talk all about ads, what you should be doing with them this time of year, because let's be honest, 'tis the season. Everyone's thinking about it. Do we do a Black Friday ad? Do we not? How do we invest? Should we? Should we not? All the things. So I'm going to welcome Joanna now to the stage. Welcome, Joanna. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Great to have you on. And for anyone that has not met you before, can you share your role at Now Marketing Group and what you love most about running ad strategy for clients?
Yes. So I am the ads manager here at Now Marketing Group. So what that means is I run, all of the paid campaigns for our clients on platforms, Google, LinkedIn, Meta, everything in between. It's kind of a mix. And what I love the most, kind of hard to choose just one, but I'm pretty simple. I like when the ads do well, and I like to see our clients kind of hit those benchmarks that they have. So a win for them is a win for me, and I think for everyone at Now. So yeah.
Agreed, agreed. And I have to say, love your background. It is very seasonal. Love it.
Very festive. Yep. Wanted to be on brand for our topic.
Love it. Well, why don't we, I'll go ahead and throw out a question here to get this kicked off. So as somebody who's previously run a full service digital marketing agency before I pivoted to PR, I have seen people approach this in a horrible direction, right? I have found that most people's holiday marketing looks like something that came out of the island of misfit toys, right? So how would you say that it's different, the approach that you would take to holiday marketing versus any other time of the year?
Yeah. So holiday marketing, I think we can all agree, we see the actual date of when these holiday ads start creep up year after year. So we really have to keep that in mind. I think the biggest thing when, what you're talking about, Jeremy, you see this like mismatch in terms of the season and the ads that you're seeing. All of that for me personally kind of comes down to planning. So I don't want to call anyone out, but if you're someone who at the last second is like, hey, I got these products that I want to run some ads on. It is Thanksgiving night, but I know the shoppers are out, or online on Black Friday. So let's get this campaign up. That's where we kind of see the messaging not quite fit. Maybe you didn't have time to kind of look at what has worked in the past for you. Or the biggest thing is a lot of these platforms that we run ads on, they do have ad libraries where you can look at what other advertisers are doing. One of the things I like to do if we're doing ads for a client is I will start looking at, similar competitors on the actual platform. So like on Instagram, for example, or on Facebook. And then I start getting served ads for, those similar products. And I can kind of look at what the flow is for competitors and look at what we've done for our client in the past, what has worked, and make sure that the messaging is on brand. When it's the holidays, I'm sorry, I'm kind of taking up a lot of time, but when it's the holidays, our normal messaging typically doesn't work as well because people are in this kind of like buying frenzy, depending on if they're I'm a last minute buyer, but we also have people who buy, ahead of time. So making sure that our ads are focused on these sales that they don't want to miss out on, or on, the convenience of the shipping that we offer, maybe, next day shipping, things like that. Those are the types of messages that I think work the best this time of year. Like, everyone wants to know about the pros of your product, but you also have to keep in mind people are in this like heightened holiday buying black hole frenzy, I guess. So yeah, just making sure your ads are on brand. And I think the best way to do that is to really do your research beforehand.
I love it.
Agreed. Are there any like types of clients that are running ads currently that then, since everyone else starts thinking about running ads now because they think holiday time, and we were talking about this backstage, like Black Friday has now become September, instead of just after Thanksgiving, where everybody's trying to beat each other to the punch on running ads. But are there any types of clients that you think, like, maybe if they're running ads currently, that they should pause them during this time? Or what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are clients who, maybe their product or their services are not a good seasonal fit. They might have a smaller budget and they want to save that for their bigger sales that, coincide with their actual product and when people need to buy their product or their service. So it makes more sense to them to maybe scale up organic marketing versus trying to compete with some of these bigger brands who have larger budgets to spend. I think there's a lot of FOMO on both sides, both the consumer and the advertiser. We don't have to buy everything that we see. I am guilty sometimes of that. I see something that's like buy one get 4 free, and it's not anything I ever needed or wanted to buy, but I feel the need to buy it. And I have like 5 keychains that I don't need. But the same goes for advertisers. You don't have to advertise every product that you have. If it makes more sense to have a sale in July and advertise then, for your home services that you provide, or your summer products. I don't know, maybe you sell beach umbrellas or something like that. You don't have to throw a ton of money behind advertising right now if it doesn't make sense for your business.
That's great insight. You said something about you don't have to buy everything. I'm going to have to get a clip of that and send that to my wife later on. But that being said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I need to put a little post-it note on my computer and my phone as well, because I am super guilty of that. I don't know if you guys saw the Starbucks like bear cup frenzy. Did you guys see that? Oh, they sold out in like 30 minutes. I don't even, I do like Starbucks, but I'm not like a huge collect the mug type person. But these little holiday bear cups they had come out, I'm like, oh, should I be looking up locations, and should I go camp out at 4 a.m. so I can get a glass mug? Like, I don't even really, I'll use it once. So we all need that reminder. You don't need it.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Look it up. You'll see a lot of angry people who did not get a mug.
Well, speaking of that kind of thing, with people that are just attracted to specific type of ads and what's really working, what do you think those differentiators are that makes some of those ads really stand out? Like, granted, like Starbucks is a big brand and they probably have a much larger budget than many companies do to spend on ads to make it go out there and reach, the many. But what are you seeing that's working for small to big companies as it relates to ads right now?
So I think creative diversity is a huge one. So there's been a lot of changes, especially with Meta this year, where, kind of the new system favors a lot of creative diversity. So, that's including different formats. So static photos, videos, UGC, testimonials, things like that. But not just throwing anything into like the campaign, really looking at thoughtful content that speaks specifically to your holiday audience, because it does kind of, your holiday audience, I would say, is a little bit different than, your everyday type of audience. Like, again, there's people who buy early, people who buy at a normal time, and then those last minute shoppers. So speaking to them and then allowing Meta to serve them the right type, Meta or any platform, to serve them the right type of ad based on where they are in their buying journey is huge. And I think that's kind of what sets them apart. You do want to look at what other people are doing, do that research, but you also want to stand out a little bit. So kind of goes back to, if you do some of this pre-planning, you can test out different formats. If you kind of want to get crazy and test something new, you can do that, before the peak times. So you can have more confidence in whether it will work or not. So,
Joanna, you were talking about the different avatars.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that there's a very different buying psychology between the two of them? Like you mentioned, you're a last minute shopper. I'm more of a ahead of time shopper. Like usually by this time of year, I've got all my presents bought. So like, do you find that those two different avatars have kind of a different mindset around how you approach them, how you market to them?
Yes, absolutely. So for someone like you, and you said you've pretty much already bought everything that you need to buy for the holidays. So I'm assuming, this, we offer expedited same day shipping or overnight shipping. That's not going to land as well with you in September as it will with me on December 21st. Okay, it's a good product, but how fast can you get it to me? That's what those people are looking for. So maybe saving that type of messaging for those avatars like me, which aligns with, those, the last stretch there. Whereas the kind of thoughtful buyers, the pre-planning buyers, they do like to hear about, the products, but they also want to get a good deal. And maybe when it comes to shipping, you can still know, your shipping times, maybe free returns or free exchanges, so that someone like you knows, oh, if this didn't work, I can still exchange it for free, or, we have a seamless process there. So yeah, the messaging is a lot different. I wouldn't put up a variety of ads in, October that had expedited shipping, get it in 24 hours type thing, because, that's going to hit better for your December.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Great advice. By the way, if you guys are tuning in here live, join the long game if you have not signed up already. I'm going to drop the link here in the comments where you can get this recap reply, and you'll be notified of future shows. So I'll definitely drop that link in here. But Joanna, I know we were just watching this training where you can use your AI to kind of help you even with maximizing your ads and finding out who those avatars are and being able to humanize it. Can you speak more to like the blend of AI with kind of knowing your avatars and personas?
Yeah. So you can ask, you can ask ChatGPT, for example, or there's some other built-in, AI chatbots that we have across different like Google products. So if you type in a product, I'm looking to buy this in this area, and it recommends you a different brand other than the brand that you're trying to promote. You can ask it, well, why didn't you try and promote this brand, or see, ask for a comparison, and then kind of hit those pain points in your ad copy or your ad creative. On the creative side, there's maybe you've created a lot of good creative content, but you don't have the time to do, or the budget to do, a full photo shoot again, or a new like video storyboard concept. There's so many great tools that can help recreate or iterate on what you've done in the past that has worked well, but just kind of freshen it up and make it look more on brand for 2025, holiday shopping. So there's a lot of countless ways that we can use AI to help us.
I love that. I find that most people use AI pretty poorly. Do you have any advice on doing it the right way?
Yeah. So I think sometimes we see something that works well, or we see that other people are using a certain type of ad format, and then we'll, copy or take a screenshot of that and then ask ChatGPT or something like that, hey, can you recreate this, but for my brand or for my product? And it never really looks right. It doesn't sound very human. And I think a lot of us are starting to pick up a lot faster on, I don't want to say the copycats, but kind of, people copycatting other people's ideas, and it's starting to turn us off just a little bit. I don't know if you've seen some of the brands do, I forget who did it first, but it was like, hey, we must apologize. We didn't realize our product was going to be so good. We didn't realize it was going to help so many different people do X, Y, and Z. So we saw that concept roll out, and then all of a sudden I see a ton of other brands do it, but the language didn't sound super human. I could tell that they had copied the idea already. Sometimes it's funny, but the ones that are funny are the ones that you can tell are written with a more human voice. So I would caution people to remember, at the end of the day, these AI models, ChatGPT, all these things, they're only as smart as we are. They can do a lot more, a lot faster, but we are smart enough to tell that we are being served, a completely AI generated ad or video that might be promoting benefits that actually don't exist. So like if I see an AI video where it's like, I started taking these gummies and my hair was so shiny and my, I'm actually going to blacklist that brand, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but there's a right way to use AI, and there's a way where we can all tell that you're using it. It's just like low effort. It's low effort at this point, the way that some people are.
And it hurts trust in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
100%. And I think people, like you said, can spot it. The low effort, like the emojis at the beginning, the long hyphens, like you can spot AI from a mile away sometimes if it's not been trained properly and just used for ideas and then, advanced from there. But sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I feel bad for the people, pre-Chat GPT who maybe use the hyphens a lot already, or the emojis already. Maybe that was their natural copywriting style.
I don't think that was anyone's copywriting style. Hopefully not, but I don't know.
But change everything.
I also just read a stat earlier this week that said like more people are using like TikTok and the chat GPTs and things like that to do shopping. And now TikTok is kind of, really trying to change the game with people using their tool for TikTok shops and things like that. Are you finding that there's one ad platform performing better for different types of brands, or which one would you recommend overall?
So, yeah, it's going to depend on your product and business and brand. A lot of people do well on TikTok shop. The thing about TikTok shop that I've noticed, and please don't come after me if you're a TikTok advertiser, but it seems like, there's something that happens the second you click on that little orange link, TikTok shop. I believe they call it TikTok Maximize or something like that. But suddenly I'm getting served like thousands of the same type of, and it's the shop ad. And I'm just boom, 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 like trying to get out of this vortex of TikTok shop ads that I am trapped in. So I think sometimes it's a bit too aggressive when you turn that throttle on, whereas it's almost like just product seeding on TikTok. So, you have your influencers or affiliate marketers who kind of naturally promote your product is sometimes better than just that throttle TikTok shop strategy. But people do it. I've seen a lot of I don't want to say fake drop shippers because they are real, but it's like they are cloning an actual business and creating a fake business out of it. And I've almost fallen for a few of them, I will admit, but I've gotten better at spotting them now. But you can kind of get away with that a bit more on TikTok, I've noticed. So, but again, it goes back to that erosion of trust.
Yeah. So. And I love that's one thing that I know that we do at Now Marketing Group is that we test things organically first before we would want to drop any ad dollars for clients, because of that trust in building out, seeing what's going to get engagement, and then the ad performs better that way.
That ad thing that you were talking about, Joanna, is that kind of similar to the Facebook pixel where once you go to someone's website, then it starts showing you all kinds of people like that, where you have to opt into that kind of thing? That seems to me like something that could kind of piss consumers off because if they're just getting blasted. So like, would you advise people to stay out of that particular program, or what are your thoughts on that?
So no, the difference between, and again, there's a right way to do TikTok ads, but mostly I've seen the wrong way. The difference between, what you're talking about with Meta and TikTok is Meta, for your ads to really succeed and your product to succeed, you have to give it so many different, variables: creative content, copy, videos, static ads, UGC, all of the things. So it has a lot of options to choose from, and it can deliver to me or you as a consumer a more personalized ad for us. So yes, we know that we're being retargeted or targeted with these ads, but at least it doesn't feel so low effort, and it feels like it's an ad that might actually be useful to us. So I think there is a certain ad or campaign type on Meta that personally sometimes I think is a bit too aggressive with how fast it pushes things out. If you're someone who clicked on that ad and you added to cart, but you didn't follow through with your sale, it might really just hit you with some ads there. But as an advertiser, knowing that if you just upload a good variety of content for Meta to choose from, then as a purchaser, you don't feel like you're getting the same thing over and over and over again. So that's kind of the difference there. Yeah.
Okay. Let me throw one more thing in there real quick, because that reminded me, what you just said reminded me of a problem that I see a lot. And I've heard people complain about this on every platform. You go and you see the ad, you go over there, you buy the thing, and now that website continues to advertise to you. Like, that is burning through your budget. How do we avoid that kind of thing?
So yeah, there's a few different ways, especially if your business. So a lot of businesses, it's not just a one product buy. They want you to keep coming back and buying, but obviously you don't want to keep selling them the same product. So you can exclude, buyers within your pixel audience. So, recent buyers, there's different windows that you can set up so they don't get served that ad again. You can definitely exclude that. And then we as consumers, once we make the purchase, we can go in and, opt out. When that little cookie banner pops up, you can opt out, things like that. Especially if you're not going to be purchasing a new pair of like running shoes again anytime soon or whatever it may be. But the biggest thing is you can exclude recent buyers within, certain ad sets or your campaigns. So it's sometimes it's not perfect because Meta might think, I know she's excluded, but she also hits these other, identifiers. So we're going to serve it anyway, but it does help out a lot. So
great advice. Love it.
Love that. What are some questions that you think brands should ask themselves? So if they are thinking about running some holiday ads, starting now, what are like some of the top questions that they need to ask before they get started on those?
So you mean starting right now, like November 18th?
Yeah.
Or
Well, hopefully they were already considering it before, but before starting ads in general. But
that will be a different conversation if it were August 18th.
yeah.
But okay, so starting right now, November 18th, brands should ask themselves, do I have a good product fit for right now? Some brands have a lot of products that they need to get rid of before the year's end. So, maybe their return on ad spend won't be as high as if they would have budgeted their time a bit better or planned things out a bit better. But you also have to consider, there was a stat I saw, and it's specifically for clothing brands in the e-commerce space. They actually don't have, like in the beginning, a huge return on ad spend, but it's the valuable metric that they have there is just the new customers acquired. So if they have a good product and they acquire that customer one time through an ad, that customer might come back organically over and over again to restock on their favorite t-shirt without needing to be served an ad. So having those conversations with yourself as a business, like understanding you might not have the highest return on ad spend depending on, what type of ads you get up or products you have. But maybe focusing on getting new customers into your funnel, if you will, or into your company, that can sometimes be more valuable than the sale itself. So considering, new customers getting eyes on your brand and your products, and then the necessity of what you need to sell and weighing out the pros and cons there.
That highlights the importance of kind of building a strong brand and also really having the numbers dialed in on your LTV as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's not, a lot of people will be very ROAS driven, return on ad spend, how much did I make on Black Friday? But some of those customers are really not, they might not stick around for a long time. They're those frenzy buyers like me. But if you look at, people who actually went through a full thoughtful consideration process for your product, and then you continue to nurture them, organically or through email marketing, that those types of customers are far more valuable than, the sale themselves, because they will refer you to other people. They will post wearing your clothes or using your product. All of these things can benefit you. So really looking at your customers as more than just a sale, but as, part of your foundation, and growing with them, I think is important.
I love that mindset.
That's awesome. Such great advice. That's why we love you, Joanna, and having you on the team. Any finishing thoughts or anything else to share with the community before we wrap up?
No, I think, get all of your good creatives, your good performing creatives up into your campaigns. You don't need to buy everything, and you also don't need to advertise everything. I feel bad saying that as an advertiser, but just don't overcomplicate it. Stay chill. It's the holidays.
Stay chill. It's the holidays.
2026 will be here before we know it. You can learn from our mistakes if you didn't plan.
Anything else, find out what's been working, and then to be able to go into 2026 and launch those things. So even if you don't drop a ton of dollars on your ad spend, now trying to beat out everyone else, maybe spend and invest that time on looking at what's working and what's worked this year, and look at your analytics, because that's also going to help you for the long game. But Jeremy, any finishing thoughts before we close it out?
Well, since we're on the subject of holidays, Joanna, what is your most hated Christmas song, and why is it All That I Want for Christmas Is You?
So actually, Jeremy, I'm actually offended right now because that is one of my favorite Christmas songs in all its variations. So I am imagining myself karaokeing it right now as we speak. I like that song.
You're officially on the naughty list then.
That's fine.
She is a hardcore karaokeer, by the way. She got bruises at Social Media Week Lima from karaokeing so hard.
All right, I'm going to have to see video of this later.
Video or it did happen.
I broke my finger, I think. Yeah, if Mariah Carey's wrong, I don't want to be right. I will die on that hill.
All right. Well, you're in the same camp as my daughter, so it's all good.
Great. Do you have one or no?
What's that?
I said, do you have a least favorite, Joanna, or no?
I will say I do feel a bit weird when I'm like in the car and the radio is playing like the soundtrack from, what is that very old sad Christmas movie? Was
it when they were about to be evicted?
That sounds sad too, but I think it's Miracle on something street. I don't know.
Yeah,
31st Street. Eyes or something like that. I don't remember, but it's like this is a very old music that is sweet, but it's just not the vibe for driving. We want to hit those those top hits, keep the vibes high. We're all stressed. Don't need like just I don't know if it's the tempo or the octaves or what, but just let's keep the vibes high. Energy, top level energy. Okay.
Agreed.
Give me that music in October or something.
Speaking of which, everybody, now you got to drop your favorite Christmas song in the chat so we can build a playlist to keep that energy high for Joanna and everyone else. And also make sure to visit the Long Game link that I have in the chat so you get this recap. And we'll include some of those holiday favorite songs so you can build out that holiday playlist as well. But thanks for joining in with us this week. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're not going to want to miss next week's episode as well because we're going to have an amazing guest. Again, Tracy Phillips. She's going to be talking about testimonials and how to drive that social proof for your brand. Joanna, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Jeremy, thank you so much for your time. And thank all of you for joining in with us this week. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.